When I was 16 years old, I had a sleepover at my best friend's house. Our other friend was there too, and it was so much fun. We danced and had a fire and snacks and everything, and then we were winding down in her room, kind of getting ready for bed, but mostly just chatting. She started talking about this really annoying situation from when she went on a cruise with her family. One of the people with them was on her period, but she refused to wear a tampon. And because she wouldn't wear a tampon, then she couldn't go swimming and she couldn't do certain excursions, and it was ruining the trip. And my friend was like, why didn't she just wear a tampon? It's way cleaner anyways. And then she asked me and my other friend, like, do you guys wear tampons or pads? And I was like, of course I would never wear a pad. It's so gross. And she's like, I know, right? It's like wearing a diaper. And she goes on about that. And I'm sitting there like, I've actually never used either because I don't menstruate. I didn't. I had never had a period at that point in my life. So I just kind of lied my way through it and agreed with everything she was saying. And then a few months later, I start to have spotting. And I'm like, thank God, because this was getting weird. I'm almost 17 years old and I still haven't had a period. So I'm all excited and I'm like, oh, well, I can't wear pads because pads are gross. Like my friend told me about how disgusting that was. So I better go get tampons. So I get tampons and I go to put them in. And mind you, I'm not actually having a full-fledged period. I just have had the mildest amount of spotting. But I'm excited because I need this to happen now, you know? I'm getting too old. So I go to put it in and there's nowhere to put it. And I was like, that's weird. There's something missing here. I am 16, almost 17 years old, and I have still never actually looked at that area of my body, but I'm like, I have to because I am bending over and not seeing what I need to see, so let's pull out the mirror. I pull out the mirror in one hand, and the other hand, I'm holding my phone, which has a diagram of female anatomy on it, and I'm like, what the hell? It's missing. The hole it's not there. And I look closer, and I like pulled out a light, and I was like, oh my God, it's really not there. So then I started Googling like a mad person, right? I spend hours searching through different conditions and figuring out like why I don't have an opening. And finally, I come across this drawing of different variations of hymens in which there is a category that says imperforate hymens. And in that category is a drawing of a microperforate hymen. This is a medical condition that has fewer than 20 reported cases. I look at the drawing, I look at the mirror, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I've got. So I set the tampons aside. I know there is no point. And then I start searching up treatment options, and it takes me a long time to find information here. It's a very rare condition. There is only one DIY option, and I was hoping to be able to do that one because I wanted to keep this a secret. It was a dilation process, which turned out to be impossible for me because my opening was the size of a pin. That's when I knew I had to get surgery. So I told my mom, I don't have a vaginal opening. Like it's just not there. And she was like, are you sure about that? And I was like, I'm sure. And she's like, can I look? And I said, no, make me an appointment at a gynecologist, please. And she said, okay. She takes me to the gynecologist and I immediately inform the people there that I don't have an opening, that I'm pretty sure I have a microperforate hymen. And they're like, no, it's normal for young women to not know their bodies. We'll show you where things are at. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, you're about to look foolish. And they did look foolish because I spread my legs and they go to do a pap smear. Where do you do a pap smear? Where does the pap go? What is the pap when there's no vagina? They were like, you can't even get a pinky in here. And I said, will you stop trying? Like, it hurts. They try to put things in. But again, the opening is the size of a pin and the flesh is quite thick. So it's absolutely impossible. And they're like, wow, we've never seen anything like this. Can we bring in the secretary? She's been in the business a long time. And I said, sure. And then they bring in a medical student. And the medical student is like, oh, I think I saw this in one of my textbooks. And I was like, take a picture, it'll last longer. Because I'm 17. I was sitting with like a crowd of people staring at my medical anomaly of a vagina. And then they come to me and they say, hey, do you mind if we bring in a doctor with more experience who could do a surgery for you, which it sounds like might be necessary. He's a man, but he's religious and he has a family. And I was like, I don't care. Stop talking. Just bring in the person who can give me help. And they did. And he was able to confirm that I had a microperforate hymen and that it would be necessary to do an exploratory surgery. Oh, I forgot the part where it's exploratory because they don't know if I have a vaginal canal. They don't know if I have female internal organs. They tried to figure it out through an anal exam. And that was horrible. I cringe to even think about it like now. So he says we're going to do an exploratory surgery where we make an X incision into the hymen. And and we'll go from there. So I was like, okay. So they knocked me out for the surgery, which cost $5,000, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that I didn't have health insurance for any of this. So they knocked me out for the surgery, and then when I come to, they say that it went pretty well. They were able to remove my protective seal, if you will, and find that I did have a vaginal canal, and it appeared that I had regular or typical female organs. I was in a huge amount of pain. I cried in the car ride home because every single bump hurt so bad. I couldn't ride in the car for about a week, and I was out of school for a week as well. I also had a catheter for 3 days. It was supposed to only be 1, but I wasn't able to urinate after the first day, and that sensation was just awful. Awful. I think it took like 2 to 3 weeks to heal, and the gynecologist checked it out and said everything went great. It looks all normal. I don't remember looking at that area of my body again. Like after that, I was a little traumatized, but I have had compliments on my hymenectomy. I had a gynecologist say once, like, wow, your surgeon did a great job. Some surgeons have no respect for the hymen. So I'm pretty pleased with how that went.
What a brilliant insight into Sydney's life and her story. No doubt she's an inspiration to so many people. And who knows, there might be people out there who can relate to her and they don't even realise until they heard her story. We just love to see that Sydney's using her platform to educate people all about these conditions and sharing her experiences as well. And people who've heard Sydney's stories have flooded her comments with support. I mean flooded. With one person saying, "Grateful for your vulnerability and openness to spread more awareness for intersex folk." Another said, "Brave to share. Thanks for helping us learn." And just one more final one to share. Someone said, "Thank you so much for being honest and vulnerable. You're helping so many people who feel misunderstood and those of us who just need to be schooled." As always, thanks for watching Happiest. If you like this video, then be sure to follow our page for even more. Or of course, if you have any videos of your own that you think would fit the page, send them over.